Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to start on notes for section 8.5, talking about angles, and you guys have a Google form at the end of these notes to practice. By the end of class today, you should be able to classify angles and calculate angle measurements. That's your goal. So first let's talk about naming angles. So an angle is a set of points consisting of two different rays that have the same endpoint called the vertex. The rays are the sides of the angles. So we can name angles several different ways. We can use its vertex, such as if we look at this image here, I could go ahead and I could call this angle A, because notice the vertex, meaning the point where the two rays meet, is this angle here. So we can call this angle A. Or we could use a point on each ray and the vertex. So I could also say this is angle BAC, or I could say angle CAB. The most important thing that you have to do when you're naming angles using the points is making sure you keep that vertex point in the middle. So notice I did it both ways. It doesn't matter if you want to start at B, then go to A and end at C, or start at C, go to A, and at B. The most important thing though is that since we were talking about this angle here, is that we keep that angle vertex A in the middle when we're naming it using the points. And then the last way I can name this angle is by using the name of the angle itself. In this case is the number 1. So notice that they labeled the angle here at the vertex A with the number 1. So I could also just call this angle 1. Okay, so a lot of different ways that you can name the angle. But again, just if you're going to be using the multiple points method, make sure that you keep that vertex of where you're referring to the angle as that middle letter. And then the region that contains all the points between the sides of the angle is the interior of the angle. So notice that if I look at this angle, the inside here, we'd call it the interior. And then the region that contains all the points outside of that angle is called the exterior of the angle. So the exterior would be anything that lies on the outside. So basically in this image, interior is in red, exterior is in blue. Okay. And then here we have the example of a lighthouse. So we have this lighthouse here, and the lighthouse keeper measures the angles formed by the lighthouse at point M. And then the 3 boats. So we have this boat here, boat J, boat K, and boat L there in the water. And then he's creating angles based off of where he sees those boats in reference to the lighthouse. Okay, so go ahead and looking at this image, name a couple of the angles for me. So what we could say, and these are just a few, is we can name this angle here JMK. So notice I go from the boat to the lighthouse and then to boat K. So that's an angle there. And then another angle is JML. So I can go from this boat J to the lighthouse to then boat L. I could go KML, so that means going from boat K to the lighthouse and then to boat L. And then I can just refer to this whole entire angle as angle M. But notice if I say angle M, that means I'm going from line segment MJ, and then I'm touching it from here, going all the way to line segment ML. Okay, so I'm referring to the whole entire angle when I say angle M. I'm trying to think if there's any other angles that I could have mentioned that I didn't. I could have said, no, I think I got them all. Okay, so looking at this image, the most important thing, like I said, is since we're referring to these angles here, is that I always kept my letter M in the middle when I was naming all of my angles. All right. So go ahead and name this angle in 3 different ways. So these are the 3 different ways that you could have named the angle, starting at point P, going from point P to Q to R. Then I could also remember take it the other way around, R to Q to P. And then I could have just said angle Q, because notice at the point Q, that's my vertex of my angle. So I could also just say angle Q. And then this will be the last one. Name this angle in 3 different ways. Now notice for this one, there could have been 4 ways that you could have named the angle, but you only have to give me 3. So X, Y, Z, ZYX. I could have said angle Y, and in this case, I have a 1 as my label marker for this angle, so I could also just say label